Ready?
Yep.
Welcome to another episode of the live question and answer show where you get your answers, anything upholstery. You ask the question, we give the answers. And we're back to normal with Jimmy sitting here. We're back to a full staff with Patrick and Michaela. We'll get to Michaela, which she's going to be reading some comments, especially one from Randy that's very interesting. But I want to talk about let's talk about the YouTube. I think that YouTube is doing fine, Patrick. I mean, we're not out to set records. We're out to just win people over the hard way, which is, letting them learn from the videos, the YouTube videos, about how to upholster. And then one day they wake up and they have their own business, or they're supplementing their income from home, and they have a great DIY business going. Well, I guess wouldn't be a DIY business, would it be? It would be a cottage industry, wouldn't it, Jimmy?
Yes.
DIY is one thing, but having a cottage, like yourself, you've gotten paid for your work, right?
I've had 6 projects so far.
6 times $1,000 each. You got $6,000 in the bank, and where are you going to go on vacation?
Oh, well, you told me I had to take you, but...
Oh, no, that's okay. But by the way, you're sitting in one of your jobs. Is that one of your jobs that just...
I thought it was yours. Actually, you know what? This is so bad that
it's really bad. It really is. That fabric's actually disintegrating before our
Well, you know
eyes.
what? I can tell by the feel that if I were to grab it, absolutely.
So this is one of your art projects. You call it 70s revived?
No, I call it early depression.
Okay, Jimmy, while I'm on the subject of things and how's the Facebook coming? Have you answered a lot?
Well, yeah, there's been a few, a little bit of a dip in the, signing on for people, but, it's still early in the season, I think. It's November-ish, and
Right.
I think I had an awful lot came August, September,
Right.
and it was just, wow, people early in the morning, late at night.
They were coming out of the woodwork.
Yeah.
To join the forum,
Yeah,
and
they're
that's the
gonna say,
Broadway.
Hey, Jimbo, what's up?
And what's that Broadway Upholstery Forum on Facebook, right?
Oh, yeah. I
So-
mean, again, at least it's a good 6 every week for a while.
I mean, people get the support. They get the YouTube, which is our channel on YouTube, Broadway Upholstery channel on YouTube.
Right.
They get the forum, which I love the forum. I think the forum is where we connect, everybody connects with each other, and oftentimes I don't even have to answer. We have the online classes, which are the only paid portion of all what we're talking
When
about.
we have these personal appearances and go on the road.
Oh, that would be great. People who are in a position to do that, I'm envious of.
Yeah.
But we do have our own upholstery shop, which is a 6-day operation, which is a retail shop, so you have to be at a retail shop. And it's also a workshop, so the extended part of the day is actually doing the work.
Yes.
So we're busy, and one day maybe we'll have time to go out into the wide world of
I think we should
upholstery.
go to Florida and just stay there.
Well, that's another thing.
We'll get you all tanned up.
Oh, well, I don't know about tanning. I did want to get to, we have one Facebook submission, Patrick. It's gotten a little slow there, hasn't it? But it's a good one. It's from Nico. And then we're going to have Jimmy read some of the YouTube comments. And then after that, I think after that, I'm going to have Jimmy talk about his job that he's doing on the online class, this wing chair, which is turning into a very daunting project, I think. Especially the part that you're doing now. We'll get
Oh, my God.
And there goes the compressor on cue. So let's unplug that. As you can see, you guys, we just got through a class, so no
We
monkeying
had 2
around for
minutes to
us.
spare.
All right, so that's taken care of.
I have Nico's submission up on the screen.
All right, let's read that. Any comments or questions, Patrick?
I know Brandy's here.
Oh, hi, Randy. We're going to get to his. He's got a very interesting email about pricing, and about time. Time. What we call that, time management.
Yes.
Time
you actually
management.
need that.
Nico says, client wants 2 of these. You guys are seeing this now. Client wants 2 of these redone. New cushions, wood refresh, etc. I noticed the back cushion is attached, so it's a semi-attached to the back frame. Customer agrees they don't like it, but I'm wondering if I'd be best to add the cushion to the frame, like a wing back, or to make a back cushion. Your thoughts? Well, I look at the shape of this. You notice how the inside back semi-attached cushion is higher than the actual frame of the chair. It's probably about 3 inches higher. So she doesn't include dimensions in here, but usually the manufacturer has figured out aesthetically what looks best. They've already figured out that a smaller height cushion isn't in proportion with the rest of the chair. And if you notice, there's another consideration that the seat cushion goes up against the back cushion, not under the back cushion. Sometimes, if you're going to do a loose back cushion, you're going to want the back cushion to rest on the seat cushion. Does that make sense, you guys, if you see that? I think it looks awkward. Honestly, I think that the original design was probably not what I would do. What I would do is a loose cushion. Might even do a box cushion, but you can leave it the style that it is, which is that's called a single piped with the pleat, pinch pleat at the top. And there's also if you look at the bottom around, there's a lot going on with this cushion, Jimmy. At the bottom of that back cushion, you see like a panel that's made, so the welt comes into the panel, and the panel's about 3 or 4 inches or as thick as the cushion. It's like a boxing. I call it a panel because it's sitting upright, and it's better to call it a panel. And then you can zipper the bottom. And then I would probably at the top, cut my height down a little bit, maybe about 1 inch. It does have to be over the top, but I'm just guessing at this. Nico, you're going to have to make your decision on what you're going to do if you take my advice. The other way to do it is to upholster it. I think upholstering it, though, is going to bring up the issue of a small appearing inside back, because, like I said, they've used the cushion to gain some height in the overall chair, which is interesting from a design standpoint that they did that. So you might not be able to upholster unless you want to do some framework and add some frame. You see what you get into when you start changing things. You get to keep this in mind. So I hope that helped. There's a lot going on with this chair. There's a lot of redesigning. You do it at least three different ways on the back. So I like the fact that Randy and other upholsterers, Malcolm, he was on last week, other upholsterers are on the comment section. So if you guys have some ideas and thoughts beyond what I just said, feel free. I didn't even get into the button design. I happen to like the 5-button design, Jimmy. Mm-hmm. Why don't you look at that, Jimmy? What would you do on that, Jimmy?
Oh, God. I actually looked at it quick. I mean, could you make a foam back and just...
Well, she's
like
asking. That's what she's asking.
Cut it down? I mean, like you say, cut it down and make a...
Well, she didn't include dimensions in that, but I'm thinking that if that cushion extends over the back, there's a reason for it aesthetically. They felt that it needed to be over the frame of the chair. So, and it's over a considerable amount. Unless that was a reupholstered job, I don't know.
I'm thinking it was.
Could be. But trust your instincts, right, Jimmy?
I definitely would shorten it, take a little bit off the top, and I probably, like I say, could you, like I say, what thickness could you use for the back of the...
Well, that's actually a good question, too. Usually the back cushion will be 3 inches thick.
Okay.
And that looks like a 3-inch cushion to me.
Yeah, and would that be better form-fitting for the aesthetic look of the whole chair?
Well, it's not going to be as tight as a semi-attached cushion or an upholstered back. It's going to be a loose cushion sitting on. It's very important, though, to let it sit on the seat cushion, not the way it is now with the back cushion. Do you see how that extends behind the back cushion?
Yes.
Not a good idea on a loose cushion.
So you'd have to make it shorter on the bottom as well, so the bottom cushion could fit right in if you wanted to.
Well, you don't want the bottom cushion. Mm-hmm. You want the bottom cushion. That's right. You're right. Yeah. Okay. It will have to be cut down. Yeah.
Okay. I'm trying to look at it, saying like, wait a minute here. Which way would be best? But
she's got a project here, though.
Oh yeah. I mean, she's going to be changing the design of the chair.
But I will say this: when you're talking to your client, think about this. Think it out first. And really, you need to be like just exactly what I said. and maybe simplify it a little bit. The customer doesn't want to hear every little thing that you're going to do. They just want from you a description of what it's going to look like.
Yes.
So for instance, if you go to a loose cushion with buttons doesn't look great. A loose cushion just plain is what you want.
Yes.
If she likes buttons, you might want to consider not doing that. Although you can put buttons in a back cushion, but that's not a usual thing to do. You never want to put them in a seat cushion. And the seat cushion, by the way, is 4 inches.
Okay.
So, I could sit here and talk more about designing or redesigning a chair, but when a manufacturer is about to make a series of chairs or a bulk number of chairs for the public, they're sitting around a table and they're engineering it, and they know it down to every detail. They know every amount of fabric that it's going to take after they've got the design down. They've got everything down to a penny with the money, and every detail is thought out. So that's what us upholsterers do. We if we're redesigning, we have to be that design team, and we have to be confident when we talk to our clients about it. Any comments or questions, Patrick?
Randy says, I would make a semi-attached box cushion on the back, also box cushion on the seat for that chair.
Okay.
Yeah.
Malcolm says, it's a bit of an odd chair, but staying with the original design is a good idea, because if the client doesn't like it, you'll have to do it over, and likely at your own cost.
Well, that's being safe. That's playing it safe, like Malcolm, right, John?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think if you were going to make those changes, like the cushion and the back, as drastically as we've talked about it, you would probably go to the client and say, what do you think of this? This is what we wanted, this is what I would like to do, and make it all a lot neater, a little bit cleaner, and it just more functional to a point.
And two, there's another factor, it's the fabric. The fabric factors in a little bit to this,
Yes.
So I think that solves that one. Now, Jimmy, before we go on, I want to tell a little story about cats. Cats are an interesting subject. I had a client, we're doing a big job in Boston. I had a client come in, and they told me that the walls had been upholstered many, many years ago. That was in fashion in Boston in the 80s, and that came from France.
Did it?
A small town in France. No, I'm just kidding about that. Only you baby boomers will get that one. It came from the application of fabric on walls is definitely French. And so the funny part about the cats, listen to this. The cats were literally climbing the walls.
Oh my God.
They were actually the cats that they had.
No way.
They'd come in and they'd open the door, and there'd be a cat up at the ceiling, near the ceiling on the wall, just hanging there. Can you believe that, Jimmy?
Are we going to start giving away cats again if it comes to New Year?
We
again?
should give a cat away for every job,
Yeah.
because the next New Year would do the job again.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, at least within a couple of years.
That was your idea.
Well, I believe in. I'm a cat lover. I do like dogs as well.
You
so.
mentioned you had 7 cats, and I interrupted you. I remember one was named Dusty.
Yes.
The other was named Randy. Not Randy. Sorry, Randy.
Muffin.
Muffin. What were the other ones?
My mother came up with these other names. Mittens.
Mittens. It
Yeah,
sounds like it's kitchen names.
Yeah.
Mittens.
The
muffins.
cats. We'd ask my mother, so what's the cat's name, Mom? The cat was probably there 2 or 3 days. And she come up, blurt out some name, and be like, okay, I guess that's it then.
So,
no matter what we
the
say.
first thing that came to her mind would be the cats.
My mother ruled as far as like the name of the cat animals.
Which is like, thank goodness she didn't name all you kids after the cat names. Like, I'd be calling you Muffins right now.
Yeah, Muffins. Muffy for short.
I think she put a little bit more thought into the kids, into the human names, right?
Oh,
a little bit more thought. Like you're named after Jimmy Hoffa. I mean, some famous Jimmy.
My uncle Jimmy.
Okay.
That's what he's named out. My God, Jimmy Hoffa. You obviously the ears obviously thin.
I didn't mean to say that. It just came out.
Yeah. Okay.
But you know what I'm saying.
What are you saying?
There's more thought that's put in.
You were better off sticking with the cats. Oh my God, you are.
Jimmy, are you ready to read the YouTube?
I am going to read this because I can't take you anymore. So anyway, here's this is some of the remarks from some of the audience here. So the upholstery posture, applying the French nails. This is a Muriel Gray. I took your advice and became a sub. Sure, I'm 2 years late on your request, but late is better than not at all. Please forgive my silliness. I thank you for the awesome video.
And what's interesting about this is posture and positioning, and Jimmy, you'll know this,
Okay.
is really important in upholstery. You have to get right leverage. Usually, the leverage is a little bit above eye level. So especially if you're using your hammer,
Yep.
you're getting the proper swing. I mean, it's really important. In this case, I think we showed people to sit sometimes on the panels, especially low panels.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be sitting down to get the right leverage when you're doing those tacks. But a
Well,
little
I
bit above
remember
eye level.
the decorative tacks that I did on a couple of the chairs. You got to get the right. You want it to be right. Again, I worked in the apartment, and it wasn't a proper work area.
Right.
But still, you're more conscientious. I was anyway of putting it on because the length of there's well over 100 tacks that I used, but it was just the idea that you got to kind of keep those things in line and making sure.
You know, you wouldn't think putting French nails or tacks in has to be explained, but I remember when I was learning, a lot of mine was observational, or sometimes they reveal to you the way to do it. But if you look at those videos, there is an actual lot teaching how somebody to put a dome-shaped French nail in. I mean, you guys, professional upholsterers, try putting a 3/4 inch stem upholstery nail, like a French nail, into an arm.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a little longer than you need. But if you run out of the smaller ones,
You're right.
you try doing it. It's not easy because the dome, it always wants to shift the tack. So we show people, I think on that video is an interesting video, so thanks for the comments.
The next one is regarding the fixing a torn cushion seam cheaply. And this is from Muso Biz. It says, excuse me, hey, great clip, clever man. Any way to fix old but beautiful cushions for a sofa when the piping is all broken? All covers are removable with a zip closure. I live in Australia, and yes, revive the industry. I cannot find anyone here to fix the cushions or even remake the whole cover.
So what
Thanks,
I
man.
would thank you. What I would say to him is that, or her, sorry, would be Jimmy, that this question is being asked by somebody that doesn't have a sewing machine.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the video he was looking at was a hand-stitched fix on a cushion.
Yeah.
So what he could do is he can get very creative with this. He can find fabric underneath the sofa. It has to be about 1.5 inches for the piping to fit over the piping.
Okay.
And he can undo the cushion, and he can insert that in there. He can glue it.
Mm-hmm.
Depending on the fabric, it's how it's going to come out.
Okay.
But he can hot glue that around the piping that's damaged, and then stitch the two pieces that he needs to stitch on the cushion. He can get very creative here and save himself a lot of money. It could be the cost of the sofa, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Again, like I say, sometimes you think of these questions that everyone comes up with, and you say, we got to do a video on that.
I remember one class, I don't know if you were in the class, but we had about 12 people, and I'm going to each piece, and I'm going like this. Oh, that looks good, except fix it like that, and walk away to the next piece. And
Right.
somebody said, after I fixed their piece, they called me MacGyver. It was like watching MacGyver work. An upholsterer, a good upholsterer, will have this bag of tricks.
Well, you've worked with how many different varieties of fabric in your lifetime?
Well, it's doing it repetitively too.
Yes.
Let's face it, that's what
Okay.
gets you good. But the
Yeah.
students make you a good. If you're ever wondering why I teach, if it's just for the reason to be a better upholsterer, students
I
learn.
don't know. Okay,
You
but I
learn.
think you're the.
Well, thanks, Jimmy. Your paycheck's in the
Actually, I
mail.
wasn't standing up. I just kind of went.
I know. I thought he was giving me a compliment.
No. Sorry,
That's all
sorry.
right. That's
anyway.
all right. You're gonna name your next cat Kevin, I bet.
Yeah, Kevin, and we're gonna. God Almighty, your wife.
Hey, Kevin.
Your wife must. Did she tell you to start the day earlier or something like
And you're
that?
gonna complain the cat's the stupidest cat you ever had, right, Kevin?
No,
You didn't name your cat Kevin. Don't do that.
Let me tell you, we had some smart cats in my house because my mother was so. When we had the construction going on with the subway system near the house, a lot. They were doing a lot of digging and everything. My mother was like, I have 2 cats here. The great mouses, as they were called, and they would.
Do you know that mice are very good eating? They're very healthy for a cat. The mouse is designed for a cat to eat.
Yes, my mother found that out when she'd say, the cat brought me a gift this morning, Jim. I'd say,
Right.
oh, what was that, Mom? And
Right. Well, there you go. She's
You
a
know?
smart lady.
yeah, Mom was on top of things. I can tell you that. Anyway, from the next thing is the Upholstery Show live. Maybe even last week. 3 days ago. This is from Valerie. She says, "Thank you for doing this video." What did you do a video? Did you show?
We
a video?
did one. We didn't do on Monday, so we had to do a late show on Wednesday.
Ah, that's
you
right.
weren't invited.
Yeah, I know. I kept knocking on the door and nobody came. So
You had your little stick with the little gunny sack. You know that.
yeah, homeless.
Home-
I had the cardboard thing. Help me. Go
Sorry.
fund and my email address, but that didn't work either.
Go fund me.
So the next one is also from the Upholstery Show live, 4 days ago. This is from Maria Johnson. Exactly how I was taught to upholster old school. My mentor was Norman Goss. He used to make custom upholstery for clients like Jackie Gleason and Julie Garland.
You're kidding. Jackie Gleason's one of my all-time
Oh,
favorites.
I mean, you know
Some
who-
people try to be him, but they can't. He's just a unique comedian.
What was the character on his show that was the bartender? Guggenheim?
Crazy Guggenheim?
There you go.
Yeah. Did he play that part, or was it somebody else?
No,
that
he
played it?
in
He
the
played
scene
that
the way he would, Mr. Guggenheim would sing a song, and oh my God, my mother was like, oh my, like wow, like a Tom Jones or Engelbert Humperdinck, just a profound voice that could just.
You know, if you ever want to see a wholesome comedy show, The Honeymooners.
Oh yeah.
Now, some people don't like it because he's a loudmouth and all that, but you know what? They'll say he's a loudmouth.
Yes.
But he's always apologetic at the end. You know, if he did anything bad. What's the next one?
This one's a little bit lengthy.
Oh, hold on a second, Patrick. Are there any more comments or anything before Jimmy?
Lucas is here. Has been here for a while.
Yeah, where's Lucas been?
Yeah, I mean,
You missed a lot, Lucas. We upholstered the whole state in red velvet.
yeah.
It's everywhere.
Actually, red velvet is nice. I prefer blue because that's what I'm.
He moved. That's why.
Where's
Wow,
he-
way to go.
I have a big upholstery studio.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No
Where?
kidding. How many square feet? We
Well, if
want
you
to know.
remember, he's from Belgium.
We want to
So,
know how many square feet he
Hey,
has.
wait a minute. They have a post. We could go. We should go to Europe. There you go.
We haven't been invited, Jimmy.
Um,
You have to be invited to these places before you can get there.
I know. Imagine if we could do a show. Imagine
Oh,
that.
imagine if we were in Belgium. Yeah.
I
doing
wouldn't
a
come
show.
back. Well, you have Belgium. You have to go to Europe. You just have to stay for a month.
That's right. Well,
You
maybe
know,
one day we'll
leave,
do a walk.
Leave these 2 kids behind. You know. Bring the wife.
Yeah.
I'll bring Rose.
Yeah.
We're good. We're done. Goodbye.
Yeah.
Have a good day. Thank you. You guys can clean up the office a little bit.
They have to do the remote from here.
Yeah. Let's
Yeah.
let's see what they see if they like it. Yeah. Okay. Thanks. So this is from Yoel Gray. In my field, in my field do the same thing. Don't ask the client when you know the right answer. It's also one of the things that shows someone has done for the job for a long time because you know what and when to ask questions. I found your channel through being interested in the shape of a traditional tack hammer. Sorry, no, so new I'm probably already forgot the correct name. It was actually a really cool channel about woodworking, explaining hand tools, restoration of them, and creating beautiful pieces. I will try to get correct spelling of his name. He had to make a new handle for his hammer. Interestingly enough, he used his hammer in part for adjusting his plain wooden wedge to adjust the iron. I think I know what he means. Let's see. I'm super glad you are sharing your skills, experience, and knowledge with us. I'm so glad that you are a teacher because you do an amazing job of explaining things in a way that sticks with a touch of humor and the interesting history thrown in. It makes my heart happy. So glad your video was a suggestion under the under the other channel I found while hunting from the original woodwork craftsman, and don't think he would call himself that yet because he is still only a few years in what I do. Hope you are having an epic and wonderful Sunday.
Isn't that wonderful?
Yeah.
That somebody would take the time on YouTube to answer that. I mean, I think YouTube has opened up a lot, hasn't it? I mean,
Oh my God, yeah. I mean, the things that you can.
but I will say about YouTube, I mentioned this before, I love doing them, do the best job I can do on YouTube. I'm not holding anything back even on YouTube, but Jimmy,
Yes.
the online, which we're going to talk about your online class that's ongoing, but these online classes are because we do pay, you do pay for them. They take longer. The editing process is much longer. The camera angles are more extensive.
Yes,
We
much
take
more
our time,
detailed.
but this guy's asking the right questions. He's like you, so.
Lucas says, I moved to the countryside. We bought a house with 4 workshops.
What?
2 1,596 square foot and 2 50 square foot.
Wow. And he
He
does.
says you're more than welcome to hang out anytime. We have the space.
Well, yeah, okay. The
I
chicken
think
is
Jimmy's
punched.
gonna move in.
Absolutely.
Can he bring his cats into your upholstery shop? Jimmy wants to know.
Yeah. Actually, I'll go out there and I'll herd the goats or something like that.
Don't worry. You call one Lucas, and you'll endear him. You'll soften him up.
Oh yeah. I work for cheap. I'm good.
But that's amazing. I know what he's doing with the separate shops. He's probably doing separate applications, like he's doing stripping wood in one shop, cutting
Yes,
wood in one
yes.
shop, and the upholstery's definitely the cleanest
Oh
shop.
yes, that's
right?
the pristine area.
Yeah.
You know how that
I
works.
can't even do woodwork because I don't have a space to do it.
Yeah,
You
how-
cannot do
well-
woodwork with the upholstered furniture.
Oh no, not
So-
even in the same building.
That's that microphone is blinking, Patrick. The mic is blinking. I don't know if you want to fix it.
It's the battery.
Oh,
Maybe
So-
Santa Claus can drop some batteries off of you guys next year, huh?
well,
15 minutes.
we should get a recharge. We should recharge our batteries.
Now how much is that?
You're still on. The microphone's still on. You can keep going.
Oh, well, we're still. We understand that we have a glitch
We have
here.
a technical issue.
We have a glitch, and we've called in the IT man, who never gets any credit, by the way. Patrick and Michaela never get any
Yeah.
credit behind the scenes. We try to do that once
Well,
in
I
a while.
give more credit to Michaela than.
Well, no, Michaela does. She does the online class camera.
Yeah, you were right about that.
What?
Oh, first he says, my cats are even banned.
Oh my God! Really?
And then he says, yeah, my shop has a showroom, a woodwork shop, and an upholstery shop.
See,
Wow.
that's. Listen, if you can do
Hey,
it.
can we get some pictures of that? Would it be possible?
When it came with the lift between workshops, maybe it's on. By lift, he probably means an elevator.
Right.
They're probably stacked.
I'd
I'd
love
like
to
to know what the property looks like.
Yeah, I think. Does he have room for a couple of bums from?
Well, we have a dream wood shop area. I'm not sure, Jimmy, if you're familiar with this. I bet you are, but it's called it's a museum. What's the name of the museum? The Sculpture Museum, the Patrick and Lincoln.
Decortum.
There's a Decortive Museum,
Yes.
and they have studio spaces that look out, beautiful glass, all glass, and they look out into a beautiful conservation area, wooded area.
Okay.
And these shops are just, it's like dreamland over there.
Oh, so a nice cup of tea, a nice
least
little
that-
muffin,
exactly like
and there
that.
you are. And
It's
then
fine art. They wouldn't have us anywhere near the place.
well, maybe me. I mean, I kind of.
Well, I don't know. You gotta put on the. You gotta go in there with the pinky out.
Well, you got to go in there with a dozen donuts. Hey, everybody, how's it going?
Do you know that the pinky? Our hands are really important in upholstery. Do you know that the pinky has a separate muscle? Right? Do you see this muscle, you guys? Yeah. You know how I know this? You see that? You see that? Now don't
Are you
laugh.
flexing your muscles?
Don't
Is that what you're
laugh.
saying?
But there's this muscle right in here.
Yeah.
Okay, every finger I think is attached to a muscle, but the pinky. So one of who's the famous sculptor? Who's the famous Michelangelo, right?
Right.
One of his sculptures, he has the pinkies up like this, and you can actually see that muscle in the sculpture. Can you believe that? That's the type of detail that I'm trying to get you to do on this chair. No kidding. That's what we're trying to do. We're artists.
I had visions of going to Belgium and or rather Lincoln.
You're about 2 paragraphs behind you.
I know.
I'm talking
It's
about
Monday.
Michelangelo.
It's Monday,
Come on.
baby. It's Monday. By Thursday, we were saying, okay, who's buying the sausage pizza this week?
Anyhow, So I want to get to Michaela now, and then because I want to
Oh,
close
that's it?
out.
I'm done?
No. You're the most important part of this because what
Oh,
we
no.
find, Patrick, what we have found doing the question and answers by myself is that the energy level just goes out of the room, and also the content. We're about 10 or 15 minutes off on the content, I think, right? Because Jimmy does, if you've noticed, he's an interesting fellow. He hasn't
Might be.
revealed his true identity. There's probably an S underneath.
It's called alias or AKA.
Alias.
You're making me reveal things, Kevin. You're pathetic.
No, we're not going to do that to you. We're not going to embarrass you with everything that you've done in life. All right, Michaela, do you want to read some of these to us?
Do you want me to catch up? Well, he did something here that you would find interesting. That
What?
you like history. He says, if you know World War II history, it's a village down the road from where the Battle of Elsenborn Ridge happened at the end of the war.
World War II.
Right.
Wow.
Does that sound familiar to you?
I know, but you know who would know that? We have a friend that teaches World War II history, and I bet he would know everything about that battle.
Sounds like he's in he says in a nature area. So he's
Oh.
like kind of in the tucked
Wow.
away in the woods or something.
It sounds like he's living the dream.
So it's something I would like.
Yeah, it sounds like Jimmy. He's living the dream, Jimmy.
I think we should try to find out. Maybe. Well, I mean, you and I could retire there.
Sounds like a top secret a base or something.
It
It's pretty
sounds
cool.
like
He's gonna
it sounds like the what do they call Superman's
The
place?
lair?
Fortress of Solitude.
The lair.
What is
The
it?
Fortress of Solitude.
Fortress of Solitude. Lair. Come on.
Well, the lair sounds kind of.
You're thinking of Dr. Evil.
What sounds better, Fortress of Solitude or Lair?
You guys. Are pathetic. I don't know why I bother.
Poor
every week.
Michaela. She just is so quiet. She doesn't get any words in edgewise.
Well,
Yeah, Lucas definitely post some pictures of that. He's going to post it to the Facebook, so that'd be
Oh,
cool
that's-
to see.
Oh
Wonderful.
yeah, definitely. I want to see it. I
Okay,
wanna see it.
Michaela.
So, I'm sorry, Michaela.
So we got a very important email for all of you guys trying to earn a living out there, and who are trying to figure out how much to charge people and everything else. Randy, why don't we read that one first? Michaela.
From Randy.
Yeah.
It's the one where about receiving a quote.
Yeah.
Okay. So he says, "Hey Kevin, here's a good one for you. I received this on Saturday night about 8 p.m. Emailed back a few questions and got a response to that on Sunday morning. Respond back early evening on Sunday with my estimate and timing. Now total silence. Not even a thank you for the estimate." Okay, so the subject started to raise red flag for me. The fabric was from a big box store with a 29-inch repeat in both directions.
Oh, my God.
So I estimated on the high side and told them I did not think 6 yards would be enough. Total bench was 110 inches. Triangle T cushions on each end square in the middle. Been getting a number of things like this where a customer does not even acknowledge the estimate after you email it. Done with rant. I assume you see a lot of the same thing. Estimated just under 900 for the 3 cushions.
Well, I think he got a very reasonable price too, and I think that if you watch the question and answers, you'll see that we try to have this segment, Michaela and I, to answer on the air some of these questions, so people can get an idea of pricing, at least right now where we sit in November 2022. So if you're watching this 3 years from now or 100 years from now, you're going to have to probably raise the prices, right, Jimmy?
A little bit, anyway. I mean,
we don't. What saves us time are the emails and the texting. I mean, we save a ton of time. In the old days, I was telling somebody the other day, you get the phone call, you ask them where they live, you write it down, and you'd have to go out. Sometimes you can ask for a description. Most people, you'd be surprised, most clients can't really describe a chair.
well, everybody
and a
has their
sofa.
version. Well,
Yeah.
it has a little bit of a problem, and you kind of go, okay, what's the problem? But finding out that, well, there's actually no fabric there.
Right,
Like you have
right.
worn out arms.
You could get into a lot of trouble by not seeing a piece of furniture and estimating.
Oh, yeah.
So oftentimes we had to go out. I mean, we tried to schedule things in the same community, if we're out,
Right.
a couple of towns over and things like that. You try to do the best you can, but I remember going out like on a Friday, leave in the morning, and not being back until late at night with the estimates all day long.
Oh, yeah.
We'd be in
Well-
the truck, and you hopefully, if you sold the job, you'd pick it up at the same time. So that presents other problems, like you're waiting for the fabric in storage, you're storing, and so the email and the text have really increased our efficiency. However, you're wasting time too on
Yeah.
this. So
You're right.
Randy's probably got. I would say just by reading his email, I'd say he's got about 45 minutes to an hour in that already.
Oh,
So do we have another estimate, speaking of estimates, that we can give people?
Yes, there's one from November 10th,
November 10th.
Marianne.
Okay, so let's just get a picture of that up there. Oh, this is an interesting, okay, you can read that.
Hello, I am interested in having a chair reupholstered. It is around 9 years old and both armrests are worn in. One is threadbare.
wow.
So that's the wing chair, obviously, she's asking about, right?
Yeah.
So tell her that the wing chair is $1,200 plus 8 yards of fabric, and you might want to put in there that does not include either the labor or the fabric, does not include that extra pillow she's got there. So you have to make that clear. It doesn't look like she wants that done on the fabric, because that's you know what that is, Michaela? Do you know what the name of that is? I haven't seen this in a while. I'm going to show people this.
You said 1,200 and...
And 8 yards. She's got a throat, that lumbar or rectangular cushion she's got, that's crewel. C-R-E-W-E-L. I haven't seen crewel work in a long time. One of the reasons why we don't see it is because it's not a very good material. It doesn't last. It's like a yarn. It's like a very, it's yarn and it's very loosely sewn.
Not a good thing.
Cats love it.
Oh yeah, they get the feel of fabric right away within like a second.
They have good taste too. They always go to the most expensive piece of furniture.
Yes, and they know how to break in the leather seats. It's
And
uncanny.
people think leather's going to be better. No, not necessarily.
Well, when they have that little bit of resistance, I think that's what they like to.
That was it for that, right, Michaela? Okay. So I think now what I'd like to do is interview Jimmy on his project.
Oh my God! You want me to stand up and do this, or
Jimmy, we understand that you like cats. No, that's another subject.
cats
Jimmy,
and dogs?
Jimmy, we understand that you're having a difficult time with this
Oh,
chair.
yeah. Well, you know what? This is why I say to you sometimes this certain lessons of a project that I've done or anybody else has done should be the a lesson like the little YouTube videos that you do, because
Yeah.
this is kind of, you may not ever see anything like this again, but it gives you an idea to how to approach it.
You can apply. I was going over this with you
Right.
about how difficult it is. I told Jimmy today that based on the fabric that doesn't stretch and it goes on like a potato sack,
Yes.
the chair itself, the curves of the chair,
Mm-hmm.
the framework of the chair.
Yes.
The only thing good about your fabric, it's an overall pattern. Thank God.
Yes, because if I had to start lining things up, that would be definitely.
There's a lot. I just want to show. I want to bring this up and show people the pleat work on the front on that arm there, guys. Do you have that button, Jimmy, that we had? Just the top of it?
I don't know where that went. It was there.
It's a quarter size.
Yep.
I think I might even have a quarter.
Yeah.
I got a quarter here. So what we're going to do is we're going to upholster a quarter size button. And can you see this, Patrick? Can you see that?
Yeah.
Can you see that?
I don't know.
Why
I think
don't you
because
move
we
your
talked.
hands away, Jimmy, for a minute.
Okay.
Do you see that, you guys?
Yeah.
So we got a beautiful pleated, which is one of the hard parts of it. So I was telling Jimmy that I was going from the top. He's got a curve at the top, an inside curve, which is always harder. He's got an outside curve, which is a little easier. He's got another inside curve, which right in here is a real problem area.
Right.
And then he's got the pleat work, which goes into you can't be any more with your staple work the size of a quarter.
Right.
Okay? And then on top of that, he's got a very difficult framework, right?
Can we show
why
that?
Why don't you show people and explain to people
Well,
how we kind of took you through the process?
Well, with Kevin had actually, let me go back here for a second. This piece here, the top and bottom, Kevin had sewn together. And of course, we're trying to, one of the things that you got to remember is you're trying to measure you want the same height from one to left and right because you don't. Of course, you want it to be exact. But with that said, of course, you're pushing all the fabric on the inside, and as it comes around, we have this railing here, which doesn't give you much. I think it gives you probably 1/4 of an inch, and it already has fabric on it as it is.
Very tight.
Very tight here. So you're talking about trying to push it through here, all the way down, and then measuring the railing on the side here. I'll show that in a second. But you have to cut the fabric in 4 different places to push it through here. So you got the railing here and another railing and then this one here on the bottom, because what you're going to do eventually is you're going to be pushing the fabric that's in the corner of the chair through here on both sides.
Show people that little tail section that comes to the outside back.
Oh yeah. So this is another railing that was. Most times you don't have anything like this.
You have the railing, but it's not that close. Look how close it is to the deck.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, obviously somebody had it so.
Somebody didn't like upholsterers when they built this chair.
Yeah, they said this is going to stay here. But this is the and again we had to actually cut on both sides.
Cut the seat, right?
Right, at the bottom of the seat, we had to cut through and push the fabric, which is right here.
The little tail section.
Right, the little tail section right through here into, we're going to staple it all up.
What that does is it tightens the bottom part of the arm to make it look good. Even though it's having a loose cushion, it's still, make it look good.
Yeah, everything to be taut. But yeah, wow.
Yeah, it was quite a lot of work.
Definitely, God, I've done we've had some lessons with some of the projects.
You picked some difficult.
I don't understand it. I said, oh yeah, let's just do it. We can replace the fabric. I think we're going to need to kind of do a total redo.
We joke about extreme upholstery, but you have actually had extreme upholstery jobs.
Well, the settee, of course, that was I never expected it to be down right to. Only to the frame, and oh my God, 24 lessons.
And that's on the online class. That's in the online class. Yes. I think that, in my opinion, the price of a subscription. How much is the price of a subscription? I'm doing a little business here, Patrick. How much is the price of a yearly subscription?
$175.
We don't really do it like that anymore.
You package it.
Yeah, it's either the new classes are $175.
Okay.
So
and we've expanded. We've done ottomans.
Yeah, there's many classes on there, but I think one class is worth. I think it's worth.
That's only $50 for one class.
One class is only.
I mean,
$50. Yeah, so it's good, and thank you for doing them. I mean, Jimmy has. You guys have to understand something about this man. He's a very patient person. He really is, and I think he's patient with himself. It's really difficult at an older age to learn.
Wait a minute, I don't know what you're talking about here.
Dog years, how many? How old?
Yeah, let's just move on with the subject matter.
I was trying to give you a compliment. It is hard. Jimmy's patient, and he sticks in there and hangs in there, and he'll do a task over and over again before he gets it right?
Yeah.
So that's what
I mean. And listening to you, and you were so exact with this. I was, you kind of, somebody who I think. Taking on this without any type of tutorial, you have got a lot of work ahead of you.
Yeah,
you really do.
Do we have any other questions or comments, Patrick? I want to have Jimmy close us out, and Jimmy, I'm going to let you close us out.
You're going to leave me alone. Get out of here.
Remember that you're
I'm going to call your wife. You're going to be home.
Remember, you're live, and it's a family show.
All right, everyone. So Kevin and I are glad that you came back. Of course, with me being in the picture again, but it's been a couple of weeks, but I was glad. We got to talk about the chair and, of course, the online questions and everything. So hopefully we've answered, if not every question, most of the questions. So everyone have a good week and take care.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Jimmy.
Okay.
How long was that?